In this video, I'm going to talk a little bit about Space Hulk, but I'll probably just end up talking about Kill Team. I had a different video planned for today being Thursday, June 30th, 2022, when I'm filming this. But then some news kind of popped up this morning that I thought, this is very pertinent to my interests, and I thought maybe it'd be a good idea to talk about it here. What happened was, across my, let's say Twitter, I saw a new article from our friends over at Warhammer Community, which is the news website that Games Workshop does. And the title is called Kill Team Enters the Void, and there's a new robotic companion to help. Now, I was intrigued, I'm going to admit, and I like robots, so I was like, all right, I'll bite, and I click on it. And we're going to just read the article. It's not real long, there's not a lot here. Kill Team pitches your elite operatives into desperate missions on perilous Xeno worlds, isolated Imperial backwaters, and the front lines of Abaddon the Despoiler's latest invasion. Sure, let's say it does. Far from these war-ravaged kill zones, however, a new frontier beckons. The void of space contains great danger and even greater rewards. And then there's a video, which honestly you can skip. There's nothing in it except for some noise and a little bit of music and a picture of a door, some flashing lights. That's basically it. Skip it. But the next paragraph's kind of interesting. A new Kill Team release is on its way, which is to be expected, and it's more claustrophobic than ever. Now, when I read that, the first thought I was like, oh, Arena. Great, we need one of those. We're entering the void of a drifting Space Hulk. Now, Space Hulk is not capitalized here, but the words Space Hulk are there. Let's say you've never heard of Space Hulk before. That's very possible. You may be brand new to this, and that's fine. Space Hulk was a game that came out, I think, in the late 80s or the early 90s. It was the first miniature game that I ever played. Technically, I played Battletech in middle school in the 80s, but we didn't have miniatures for Battletech. We had little cardboard standees that went into little plastic bases and held them up. So you were like, oh, this is an Atlas and this is a Marauder or whatever. I don't know. Anyway, the first actual miniature game wasn't until I got into college, early 90s, and I played first edition Space Hulk. My friend Peter owned it, and he taught me how to play, and I was enamored with the little models and the black and white book that had all the information in there about like what space, Marines are and the Emperor and Tyranids and how that all works and stuff. And it was just super cool and interesting to me. And that's what got me to, I guess, where I am here today. But, so I'm very interested in Space Hulk. I never actually got a copy of Space Hulk until 3rd edition. 3rd edition came out in 2009, I believe. And then it disappeared. It came out. It was limited edition. I worked like heck to get one. I got one. And then anybody else who got one who just decided to scalp it and flip it on eBay just threw it on eBay right afterwards. And that was the only place you could get them for a while. And they were like $250, which is funny because back then I remember people going, $250 for a Games Workshop box of miniatures, just plastic? Are you kidding me? Anyway, so and then in 2014, it kind of came out again. Some people refer to that as version 3.5 because it didn't really change a lot. There were new models in the 3rd edition. It was the same models in the 3.5 edition. Some people refer to it as 4th, whatever. Tomato, tomato. The point is, that was 2014. It's 2022. I'm not good at math, but it's been a while since we've had a new Space Hulk. Space Hulk is, I think, one of the greatest kind of gateway games to get people into the hobby. It's what it did for me. And the fact that they don't have it available all the time is always weird. I actually, a very long time ago, back in the early days of the channel, made a video about why game companies sometimes just leave money on the table, like just decide, oh, we're not going to make any more Space Hulk for a decade or something like that. And short answer, I have no idea. It doesn't make any sense. But if you want to watch that old video where my hair was a lot darker, pachow. The thing that was super cool about Space Hulk is you had Terminators, right? You had your Terminator Marines, which the original version that I played back, the first version, they fit on 25mm bases back then. They're obviously larger now. The 3rd edition and 3.5 or whatever edition weren't actually on round bases. Those Terminators were on these kind of like longer bases that were just attached and stuff like that. But they were awesome sculpts. They were really cool. And then, of course, there was also I believe the term is a buttload of gene stealers. And the most of the scenarios were you had a squad, maybe 2 squads of Terminators, and then the other player ran the gene stealers. And in many of the situations, the gene stealers just never stopped coming. Like, they would get killed, you'd set them aside, and then more of them would come in at the other end of the board. And the board for Space Hulk is super cool, modular, crazy tiles that you put together in all kinds of different fashions. And it's really interesting, right? So, again, it's Terminators versus gene stealers. It's an uphill battle for the Terminators, frankly, and it's these really cool, different kind of modular hallways and rooms and entrances and crossroads and all this kind of stuff that are what's going on inside of the Space Hulk. So it's an awesome game. Getting back to the paragraph here that ended with the words Space Hulk in this sentence, in such oppressive confines, which hallways and skinny little, yeah, makes sense, no one knows what's around the corner, except for the fact that it's definitely not friendly. Yeah, this is all Space Hulk. This is awesome. That's why the Imperium has mechanical doodads on hand for a bit of advance warning. And then they showed this little robot guy here, which is fine. There was one of those in the previous version of Space Hulk. There was one in Space Hulk 3, 3.5, 4, whatever you want to call those. And I kind of like the look of the old one a little bit better, but I don't know, maybe in person this one will look a little bit better. These strange machines, known as C.A.Ts, C-A-Ts, or cyber-altered task units, that's what they were called back then too, may look like a young tech priest's first school project. Oh, that's a joke, I guess. But they're key reconnaissance tool fitted with the best picked capture devices a quartermaster can supply. Okay, cool. So you're showing off a new C.A.T. Now, again, this seems like Space Hulk, but, we're talking about kill teams, so I'm dubious. Who does this C.A.T unit belong to? And what are they doing poking around a Space Hulk? Again, they've mentioned Space Hulk twice now. You'll need to stick around for more news from Kill Team HQ. The best way to hear about it is to sign up for our newsletter, blah, blah, blah. So that's it. It's a very short article and a video which didn't do anything, really. And then there's a picture of a cat, not an actual meow, but you know what I'm saying. I have a lot of thoughts. So as I've mentioned, I'm a big fan of Space Hulk, specifically 3rd edition, the 3.5 edition, or 4th, whatever they want to call it. Kind of made some updates and little things here and there and all that kind of stuff, but the models are the same, the tiles are the same. They were still kind of nice, shiny, embossed, thick, very colorful, very cool. You had doors and you had all these different models and they were just spectacular. It's an amazing game that you haven't been able to buy for again, like I said, nearly a decade, about 8 years probably. So my thought was all right, are they bringing back, the first image that comes into my head is a box of basically just the tiles and the cat and some other little bits and pieces, objectives and things like that. And because it's attached now to Kill Team, well, I guess then you get to use whatever kill teams you want against each other. But then I'm like, no, because really you got to be fighting against Xenos. That's the whole point. You're going to be fighting. So either then, okay, so it's a box that's going to come with a whole bunch of Tyranids, like gene stealers. And then you use whatever kill team against them and you kind of play Space Hulk. But what would Imperial Guard be doing on a Space Hulk? The whole concept of Terminators going onto a Space Hulk is that they're the only ones that could kind of survive. Who knows what the atmosphere is like inside of a Space Hulk, what kind of horrible things are going on just in the air alone. Viruses and, I don't know, just all kinds of stuff going on. And then also gene stealers. Oh, that's fun. Imperial Guard and most other armies that are normal kill team armies are going to get shredded. So I have to assume as I think more and more about this, and I've been thinking about it since this morning, this is not going to be Space Hulk. They're going to throw the term Space Hulk around in there. But if I had to guess, it's just going to be another 22 by 30 board, and it's going to be kind of like Arena, I suspect, or Catacombs from, Warcry, and that's frankly a real shame. I'm not particularly a fan of Kill Team, you guys know that, but it's fine, But I don't like it as much as the last version, and I certainly don't like it as much as I like Space Hulk. So my concern about this whole thing is that this is going to be basically well, we don't have to make Space Hulk because we're going to use this. There you go, boom, there's your Space Hulk. But I really still think, and the ideas that I had in that video, I don't know, nearly a decade ago on this channel about leaving money on the table, I really think that Games Workshop should bring back Space Hulk, I guess, is number one. And number two, is it going to cause trouble for the Space Hulk brand, as it were, if they decide to kind of sort of slot it into Kill Team? You know, Kill Team so far, since they've launched 2021, back in the last summer, as it turns out, they've come out with these quarterly boxes. They had Octarius was the first one, but then they've had Nachmund and Chalnath and Morok and that kind of stuff. And the idea was they're probably going to do another one of these. No one really was surprised by that. But when they're like, we're going to do it differently, and we're going to do it, and they keep throwing around the word Space Hulk, you make me think of certain things. You don't make me think of a 22 by 30. I know that we've taken over most of the dining room table, setting up giant Space Hulk, you know, hallways and door, all that cool stuff. It's a great, awesome game, and it's a great way to get into the hobby. And I would be very surprised if they decided to take the modular hallway idea and kind of somehow figure out how to fit it into Kill Team. I would be happy to some degree if they would. But the issue is that Kill Team's rules are so much more dense than Space Hulk. Space Hulk's got a great kind of simple rule set. If you're looking for a relatively recent version, if you want to watch some battle reports of Kill Team, my friend Wargamer Girl just did recently some, and you check those out. Pachow. They're very cool, and it's a great, awesome game. And I'm concerned that they're going to kind of use this as a situation in which to just go, well, you should buy more Kill Team and get involved in Kill Team because you like, you know, Space Hulk, right? You've been waiting for Space Hulk since 2014, if not earlier. Well, here it kind of is. And I don't know if that's the right way to go about it. So does this really mean anything? It's a good question. They've obviously kind of decided to put out this teaser and say, hey, but the fact that they're using the term Space Hulk in there, and again, they're not capitalizing it. I don't know if that's important or not, because they're not talking about Space Hulk the game. They're just talking about a Space Hulk. And Space Hulks have been around in 40K lore for nearly as long as there's been 40K lore. So I don't know. I'm concerned a little bit. I've still got my copy of Space Hulk, so Lord knows I can still play that. Actually, my plan is to, sometime either later this summer or early this fall, start painting my 2009 third edition version on Twitch. And I'm actually going through right now, and slowly, as I'm doing other things, kind of working on the models and getting them kind of ready to go for painting. So, you know, check me out on Twitch if you're interested in finding out more about that eventually. But it's a game that is very near and dear to my heart. So I'm concerned about what they're doing with it, and we'll see, I guess, hopefully as they release more information. Maybe it'll just be a kind of a board that's 22 by 30, that's just a small section of a Space Hulk, and it's just a normal thing, and that's fine too if they want to go that direction. But when they use that terminology specifically for me, it makes me a little bit nervous, and so yeah, that's where this video comes from today. I don't know, if you've got some ideas of what you think they might be doing, if you've got some inside information as well, hey, throw that in the comments for sure. And if you liked this video, if you want me to talk more about kind of weird news that sort of pops up and what I might think about it, sure, give me a link or a like or a link, whatever. But a like probably would be easier for you. Throw that in the comments below as well, and subscribe if you're interested. Thanks for watching.